In the depths of winter, with temperatures stuck to zero for the second week, by now the frost has reached the core of anything exposed to it. Every object outside has been covered by a film of ice. Every animate object has been forced to stillness. In that stillness, we take the time to look at what is lost and imagine what is to come. Going deeper into the detail and significance of death and birth, we find ourselves walking through dense layers of history and personal experience, considering actions and consequences, looking at the centers and the peripheries of each story, the liminal space, walking along the edges of being human, moving in thick air, like dancing in a dream. To talk about death and birth is not an easy task. To revive memories of pain in a way that doesn't hurt. Memories of intensive care units and delivery rooms, veins, drip tubes, and umbilical cords. Bedouin songs that can bring back the dead, birth that comes by fighting death. These experiences live inside our bodies and their memories manifest in physical ways. Touching them will cause discomfort. What is the last picture that you keep in your memory of a loved person that you've lost? I see him in the hospital on the carrier bed moments before he's pushed into an elevator that will take him to the surgery room. He looks surprisingly healthy for someone who's about to enter surgery. His face is full, red. He still looks like I remember him, and he's smiling. He smiles though all of us in the waiting room are looking at him with pain in our eyes. He keeps smiling until the doors of the elevator shut. How long can I avoid the discomfort of talking about death, and is avoiding pain becoming the source of it? Do you know this fruit produced by this cactus, opuntia in Latin? In English they call it prickly pear or pear cactus. In French it's called figue de Barbarie, meaning fig from Barbary, and Barbary is how Western Europeans in the 16th century referred to North Africa. Funnily, in Greek, we call it frangosiko, which translates to French fig or Western European fig, which sounds a bit like returning the insult. This cactus grows in a tree shape with a thick stem. Its branches made out of fat leaves that grow on top of each other, all covered in black spots from which tufts of sharp spikes are pointing in all directions. Handling this tree can get messy, and you wouldn't want to go anywhere near it if it wasn't for that fruit that grows on top of the leaves. Sometimes hiding in green, other times flashing yellow or red, teasing you to defy danger and make an attempt. The fruit also carries these black spots like a threat, a bit like saying I could grow spikes too, and is covered in short, hair-thin, tiny splinters, released with the slightest movement and causing a terrible itch if lodged on your skin, and an even more painful irritation if they go in your eyes. On a windy day, you would avoid even walking near that tree. Those splinters are light enough to travel many meters and find your eyes, even when you're not fruit picking. Talking about death is a lot like picking and peeling a prickly pear. You can't just grab it from any side like other fruit. You need to wear gloves and use the crab claw technique. Lock index finger and thumb on top and bottom parts of the stem. Slice carefully once, twice. Remove that part of the skin. Now lay the fruit on its back and using a spoon, scoop out the juicy, mushy flesh filled with tiny black seeds. There are different ways to deal with the splinters. Some soak the fruit in water, others burn them in open flame, but no one can avoid the seeds. The texture is chunky and crunchy, and the taste is sweet and sour. Some describe it as a mix of watermelon, kiwi, and bubblegum. I remember picking them as a kid and exclaiming the same thing as I was eating them for the first time, with seeds between my teeth, red eyes and swollen lips, juices dripping from my chin onto my wounded hands. This tastes like bubblegum. In Arabic, this plant is called sabr, and sabr means patience. And I find this name the most apt for this cactus that lives in the hardest conditions, survives extreme weather, and resists drought. This cactus is a symbol of patience and resilience. but also for the fruit to be called the fruit of patience. The patience it takes for it to grow and from us to pick and peel. The patience it takes until, with red eyes, swollen lips, and wounded hands, we get to crunch our teeth on the seeds of discomfort and finally be able to smile at pain.